So our third film will be on the film Capone. So Capone is a biographical film written, edited, and directed by Josh Trank. If you guys don't know who Josh Trank is, this is his third film. His first film was Chronicle, that starred Michael B. Jordan and stuff, and they had these like powers and stuff. And also, no, it's those three guys that like recently find out stuff, power, enough that they're all friends, and then there's that one scene when they're in the car park and then they move the car with their mind and stuff.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah. And then this one for sure you'll know, Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan in it.
Yeah,
that was not.
I can't forget.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Not that I haven't tried. But
yeah, but anyway, so this is his.
Everybody had such high hopes for that movie.
Yeah, I mean,
especially with the cast.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan, and that was after Miles Teller when he was in Whiplash, and then we were thinking, oh man, it's gonna be really good. It was not that.
Especially after Whiplash, but I guess better luck next time.
Yeah, because I think they're definitely gonna reboot that film. Anyway,
properly.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about Capone. Anyway, so this is Josh Trank's third film. So the movie stars Tom Hardy in the titular role of Al Capone, but they only refer to him as Fonz in the film. So I guess Fonz was his nickname in real life. Anyway, so the plot of the film focuses largely on the last year of Al Capone when he was alive. And he was under house arrest in his large mansion in Florida. All the meanwhile, like federal agencies are trying to find out where Al Capone supposedly hid $10 million, because in the beginning of the film it tells us that Al Capone was arrested for tax evasion. He went to jail for 10 years, and then they let him out for house arrest in Florida. So this is where like the film is in the last year of Al Capone's life.
For those of you who don't know, Al Capone was a notorious
gangster
kingpin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Back
He's like this big monster. He killed like a lot of people. But anyways,
I think he was the one who was first named Scarface.
Maybe. I think so. It was around that time.
Nickname Scarface.
You know what? He has a scar on his face, so maybe he might be Scarface. Yeah.
So this movie sort of like circulates around his life.
Around his last year of his life.
Oh, okay.
So
because he died, I think
he was 48 when he died. I was actually shocked at how young he was. Well, relatively young. But
back in the 1940s, late 40s,
when they talked funny in movies.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah. Anyways, but so I knew next to nothing when watching this film about Al Capone. I still don't I didn't know anything about Al Capone. I went to watching this film, and then after I finished watching the film, I still didn't know anything about Al Capone. It doesn't really tell us anything about who Al Capone was.
So you had to go into the movie with with a fair idea
of who Al Capone was. Yeah, if you didn't know, but I think that's a criticism of the film, because you need to treat everything. Doesn't really do it that much to shine any light on who Al Capone was and stuff. I think that's one of the main issues. I really like movies that are based on real life figures, that are based on singular events. So I'm thinking of movies like Steve Jobs, Misbehavior, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and also The Two Popes, right? So I just want to
that way it's so much easier to do some background checks on.
Yeah. So Steve Jobs, that movie with Michael Fassbender, it focuses largely on just three events in Steve Jobs' real life, right? But it doesn't. So there is three real life events that happen, but then in those things that happen inside the movie, that's all fictional. All the dialogue and stuff like that is fictional and stuff like that, right? So I do like those types of movies that have real life structure and stuff. And what happens in those movies is that the character, they interact with other characters, and then you kind of find out who Steve Jobs was as a human being and stuff like that through his interactions with other people, right? In this film, since Al Capone is suffering from neurological neurosyphilis, that's what he has, and so he can't really talk with anyone. So by extent, he can't really interact with any other characters. So it's this really weird, if you want to find out anything about Al Capone, you can't really find out anything, because his mind is so far gone that he can't really have any dialogue with anyone, and he can't really interact with any other characters. So it's this really weird thing of you want to know who this person is, but you just don't really, you can't really get it from just him not being able to talk to anybody. There's other issues where there's some cops in the film, and their motivations aren't clear until the last 20 minutes of film. You see them on screen, but then you just don't know what they're doing, why are they there and stuff like that. And so majority of the characters just have no clear motivations on what they're doing and why are they there and stuff like that. I do like the movie using these horror elements to show the degradation of Al Capone's mind and like him kind of like being very paranoid and then like he imagines things that are not there and stuff. So it's really cool using those horror elements. Having said all these criticisms and stuff, structurally it's not a good movie because again, if you're trying to introduce a character, you don't know how like when he interacts with people, you don't know who he is as a person and stuff like that. But I don't know. I actually kind of like the movie. It was just this weird like horror type of film about someone's mind like being paranoid and stuff like that. I kind of like the movie, but yeah, there is some criticism of the film. Josh Trank does a good job at directing this film, so I definitely want to see his next film after that really like bad job with Fantastic Four.
Yeah, plus it's Tom Hardy, so it'll be interesting to see
His performance is cool,
see
but
him embody the character of Al Capone.
yeah. But again, it's just he barely there's no dialogue for him, so it's really weird. You don't know what he's thinking or what he's doing or stuff like that. So it's just